Yo, what up guys, Corey Sandman Sandhagen here. Today we're going to go over Volkanovski versus Lopez. It was an amazing fight. Video is going to be sponsored by Aries. Today we're going to talk about the 3 things Volk did in order to win this fight against Lopez. Maybe 1 or 2 things that Lopez could have done a little bit differently. How the styles kind of clashed with each other. Let's crack into the breakdown. Peace, I love you guys. See you guys in a couple weeks for my fight. Oh, by the way, use code May3 in order to get you guys the Sandman merch on CoreySandhagen.com. All right, cool guys, so let's talk about the 3 things that Volk did in order to win this fight, okay? One of the most obvious things is he was circling to the right a lot, okay? That was a big deal because obviously Lopez has a really good overhand hook. When you're already circling to the right and you're doing these type of like L steps here like this, you kind of keep yourself safe as long as I'm bladed. If I'm square and I L step, I open myself up, I get hit with the right hand. When I stay a little bit more bladed, like how Volk does, he'll occasionally give like one of these and then try to score off of here. But for the most part, he's really closed off here. When he L steps, boom, it takes me away from the left hand, obviously the right hand, but my blade is protecting me from that. And when I circle this way, really all that I need to worry about is keeping this hand up in order to block from the hook. Straight things you have to adjust to, right? Like I either have to slip this, I have to parry this. The round things, it's as simple as just keeping my hand up, okay? So Volk did a really awesome job circling right, kind of L stepping over and over and over again. That was one of the biggest things. The other big thing was the jab, okay? I said this in the pre-fight breakdown that Lopez is not easy to hit, I'm not gonna say that, but he's definitely thinking more offense than he is defense, which gets him hit a lot. He doesn't move his head a ton. He marches people down. He'll eat one to give a couple, and if you're willing to do that, then that's cool. I'm not going to say that that's right or wrong. That's up to Lopez to decide if he wants to fix it in the next one, because I do think that he will fight for the belt again, maybe against Volk. But Volk did a super awesome job landing this jab, okay? He wasn't really loading and landing it. It was just from here, boom, just little touches and scores. He knew probably from scouting Lopez that Lopez isn't going to do a ton about this. He doesn't parry. He doesn't slip. So Volk was able to just be like, okay, I know that I can just score my jab when I need to. If you're going to run that game plan, it is a good idea also to circle to the right, so the 2 kind of go together big time, to where when I'm circling right and landing my jab, it really hides me behind this blade, whereas it's very tempting when you're circling to your left for me to start to throw my jab like this. And if someone hits like a cannon, that's not really the first thing that you want to do, is throw my jab, circle myself to my left, to my left, so I can get hit with overhands. So Volk did a really good job of pairing those 2 things together, where he's circling right and scoring his jab from here instead of moving left and throwing his jab like this and getting hit over top against someone like Lopez, who's really good at dropping his weight and throwing his punches like on the drop of a dime, okay? The last thing Volk did is he used wrestling to take some of the pressure off, okay? I think it was after the 4th round, his corner was telling him, shoot a single, drive him to the cage, and use that to get him off of you, because Lopez did look like he had a ton of energy and it was a really close fight. So you can use wrestling as a way to control the pressure of the other person. I don't care who you are. If I go like this and try to grab your leg, you have to do something about it or else I'm going to take you down, okay? That was a really big deal in this fight. Anytime, or not anytime, because there was definitely a few times where Volk sat down on some punches and traded, but he always kind of had in his back pocket, if the pressure ever becomes too much, I'm just going to shoot in on this guy, make him defend. Hopefully it gets him a little bit tired, which it didn't, but I'm sure that he was kind of hoping that it would. But anytime that I shoot in, he has to defend. I can circle myself out, and I can get back to striking in a space where I don't have to worry about this guy closing distance on me so fast. So those were the top 3 things that Volk did in order to win. He circled right. He used his jab while he was circling off to his right, and then he was using a lot of wrestling in order to just get a lot of that pressure off from Lopez, okay? Lopez did a super awesome job as well, though. Obviously, it was a phenomenal fight. What I like about Lopez is that he will use things to set up for sure. Like the uppercut was amazing in this fight. Almost caught Volk a number of times, did a couple times too. But Lopez kind of uses his jab to throw his uppercut here. That's a really good idea because when you're fighting people and I get close enough to hit you and their guard is like this, if I hunker down like this, an uppercut is a really good idea. If I hunker down like this and throw an overhand, not the best idea. I'm just going to smoke you on top of the head, which isn't going to hurt you that bad, one, and could hurt my hand. So Lopez did a good job of when he did get close, making a read, deciding if he needed to go over top or come underneath like this. So that was a super awesome job on Lopez's part. I'm not going to I like Lopez a lot. I think that he's obviously, I've said it a number of times, I sound like a repetitive record right now, but Lopez is really good, okay? The problem with being a guy that walks people down without a ton of movement is that I know when you're going to go because there's not a lot of feinting, there's not a lot of shaking my shoulders. Every time that, if every time that I go to throw something, it's coming, or every movement that I make, there's big shots coming, it makes it not easy to read because it's still dangerous, but it can make it so that I see your hand before you lay it down, okay? So when Lopez marches down, any movement that he had was to try to kill Volk. If you're gonna run that game plan, sometimes it is a good idea just to add in feints, little bit of shakes here and there so that it makes it hard on the other guy to try to time punches or to make it so that, oh, okay, I don't know if he's going now. Maybe I can relax a little bit and then you go. But that would be maybe something that I would add in if I was Lopez because he's definitely a phenomenal fighter. He did really, really good in that fight, better than I think a lot of people expected, kind of including myself. But like I said, Volk was just kind of like the sharper guy. He scored a bunch in between these big exchanges. He used wrestling, not to get takedowns, but just to control the pace of the fight a little bit. And he did a great job with the jab and circling off to the right. So good on both those dudes. Like, subscribe, comment. I fight in a couple weeks. Make sure that you guys are using code May3 in order to get your guys' stuff on CoreySandhagen.com. I'm a half dead person right now because I'm super tired from training. Love you guys. Peace.